Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know, Gina and myself have left our apartment in New York. We have purchased this beautiful camper. We have moved into the Club MX facility and we are training here full-time, living our Moto dreams. We're excited to take you along with us, and today we are playing a little game called Easier or Harder. Is this easier or harder than we thought? Again, thanks everybody for joining us. Today we just want to start off by saying thank you to our title sponsors for this video, Reckless Goggles and DCIII Suspension, coming down here and riding as much as we were riding. We are going through so many tear-offs, and our goggles have been amazing. Our suspension from Dage has been amazing, and we thought it was only right to have those two headline this video. So again, thank you Reckless and thank you DCIII.
Okay, so here's how the game is going to work. We have different questions here, and Pat and I are going to go back and forth answering if it's been easier or harder than we thought it would be. So the first question we're going to go back and forth and take turns answering is, was it easier or harder to leave home and give up our apartment in New York? So the move itself.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this in two parts. The process of leaving the apartment in New York, meaning like packing everything up and doing it as smooth as it went, I would say it was like, I almost want to say it was harder than I thought, because to imagine how much energy and effort it takes to do something and then to actually make the choice to show up and do it, it was harder. I thought it was going to be super smooth and effortless and easy. And even though like it was, like my body and my mind was harder than I thought it was going to be. I was like, we're just going to move out and it's going to be great. The second part of that answer is like, even emotionally, as hard as it was to leave everything that we built in New York and our friends and our family, we kind of like that was a little bit, that's a tricky one to answer, because I feel like we're taking a lot of them with us in spirit, if you will. Like we're moving forward and they're moving forward with us in a lot of ways. So it was initially harder, but like now that we're doing it and we're seeing how it's all unfolding, I'm saying I'm happy. It was easy. How about you?
I'm going to say that the move itself was harder than I thought it was going to be. I've moved a lot of times, so I'm very familiar with the process of moving, and I'm usually really good with like leaving things behind to a certain degree when it comes to like our home or the space. I believe that home is wherever we are. We can make anything home. So from that perspective, like I thought it was actually going to be easier, but I found it to be a little bit harder. I'm definitely missing our home more than I thought I would. But yeah, the move itself, so actually moving all the stuff out and the process, I thought it went really smooth. I would say that part was just on par with what I thought it would be. But leaving the friends and people that, we love has been harder than I thought it would be.
That's fair. Fair. All right, so the second one, the second question is, living in a camper, is that easier or harder than you thought it was going to be?
I think it's easier than I thought it would be. So I was really worried about like cooking and more of like the day-to-day tasks that come with like running a household. Like I thought that would be a lot harder, or there would be like a lot more barriers. And partially I think it's been easy because you've been doing such a good job of like figuring everything out and getting the water hooked up and learning how everything works. And so you've made it easier for me than I thought it would be. But yeah, I love it. I love living in the camper. The lack of space does not bother me one bit. I think that we did a really good job of paring down our belongings, and so it's very comfortable, very cozy in here. And because we have the hookup, it really has everything that we need. So that I would say is easier. What about you?
So I'll piggyback off of that also and say easier. To live in a camper spatially, it's been easier for me. I actually love it. I love the tighter space. We have a garage, we have a bathroom, we have a nice little living area, we have a little electric fireplace that's been amazing, and we have a dope little bedroom nook.
Yeah.
Like I kind of really don't need any more than that.
Yeah.
So in that way, meaning can we go from an apartment to a camper? Yes, way easier. To your point though, the learning curve of how to live and experience life or the lifestyle in a camper has been steep, a very steep learning curve. So I have to give a huge shout out to Charlie Mack, who has literally been on speed dial for me. Many of you know Charlie from our MSC videos. He was the plus 40 champ last year. Just a great guy all around friend. And he's really helped me figure out a lot of how this camper works and what order to do things in and why something isn't working. And he's been doing it literally over the phone. So Charlie Mack, like, love and prayers to you. Thank you so much for helping out. We've had some neighbors here that have really helped us out, really helped us out in a big way, from parking this thing in the middle of the night when we got here. And we had another neighbor come over and help us, like, with our hot water. Like, it was just, the learning curve has been steep to experience life in a camper, but living in a camper, easy.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like, oh, you haven't done it for so long. So like, nope, I don't care. I can do, once I know I can do something, I can do it for as long as I need to do it. So I don't like, I don't crave more or space in that way. So both, but easier. Thank you, Charlie.
So this one is more specifically for Pat. Is the actual training program at Club MX easier or harder than you thought it would be?
Harder. In the best way possible, harder, because of the level of naivety that I had going into this, from my own preparedness, from my own idea of what a training program was going to be, like a full-time training program, versus what I used to do and used to call training. Harder on my body, harder on my mind. It's been harder. It's like a love and hate relationship, because what I love to do more than anything in the entire world, what I am more passionate about than anything in the world, is motocross and riding my bike or being around this environment and the people in this environment. So in that sense, I feel very at home here. The workload, this is like week 2. So listen to me talking like I'm like an old timer. The workload that we are building up on to build the base for what we're trying to do is been wild, and it's harder. That being said, I have to give a shout out to the entire Club MX facility, to all of the trainers, to Hayden, to Ross, who are really helping us with the motocross program and with the physical training aspect of motocross, and to Mike Bonacci for really being a gracious host and helping us get kind of settled here. Really, everyone in the program, we're just really grateful to be here. So it has made the entire experience, I would say, as easy as it could be for something that's so hard. Next question.
Yeah, I guess we just want to preface this by saying, like, just because it's harder than we thought it would be doesn't mean we're not enjoying it or having fun.
Yeah.
Like, we love it. We had certain, like, ideas in our head of, like, what it was going to be like, having no idea what it would actually be like. So we just want to kind of like have a little fun and talk about the reality, expectation versus reality of like what it really is like living this life, especially if there's anyone watching who is considering it or maybe like is just curious how we're doing.
We want to be as real as we can with you guys, knowing that we are going through challenging things.
Yeah.
But it's in the name of moving forward inside of something that we love to do.
Yeah.
So even doing something that we love to do, we're very well aware that there are going to be challenges that make you want to like just drive to Saskatchewan and never come back. But it's really both of those things that make it what it is and interesting, and we kind of like to do challenging things, otherwise we lose our minds. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, and our fourth question, this question is for you. Has it been easier or harder to trust the process of our journey, because we're going into this relatively blind, kind of like following our instincts, and how has it been for you?
I'm going to say that is also harder than I thought it would be. I made my entire career prior to this about planning. I was an event planner, wedding planner, meeting planner. So having a plan is something that it just makes me feel safer in an uncertain world. We are very much in the unknown with this. We have sort of like a 1-year plan, but we don't really know how it's all going to unfold, and we don't really know what happens after that. So being fully sort of out in the open, out in the unknown, and not knowing how this is going to officially play out and pan out and where this road is going to take us is challenging. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say this. It's harder than I thought it would be, but I think I'm doing as well as I could be.
Tell our friends, like, who inspired more of this plan?
Me. Definitely
Not
me.
me.
So
Everyone thinks that this was me, and I'm dragging this poor, beautiful woman across the country to go live my moto dream. That is not the case.
no, that is not the case. I will set that record straight. So this was very much like what felt like a very guided idea that came in for us to do through different puzzle pieces that we were getting along the way. And now, so Pat and I really try to live our life that way. We follow the breadcrumb trail and we do what we feel we're being guided and asked to do, even if we don't see where that is going to lead us or why we're being asked to do it at the time. We believe that there is something greater than us guiding us that can see the bigger picture better than we can, and so we really try to live that way. However, that is obviously easier said than done, and I think both of our, I guess, faith, if you will, has been tested on this journey. It's challenging to actually live that way, but it's the way that we are committed to living together as a team. And so when the idea came in, it was like we were both so sure that we wanted to do it. Now that we're doing it and living it, it's harder than I thought it would be.
But of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. We couldn't know from this perspective how it's going to work or what's going to come in or what opportunities are going to arise or where it's going to take us. We couldn't know that from here. But we have enough evidence of kind of like moving in the direction of that and seeing some amazing things happening, even when it was really, really challenging for us at the time, because it's hard to move forward when you can't see where you're going. But if you kind of trust that something or some part of you can, then it makes it a little bit easier to walk in the dark when you have a faith in something guiding you. So I would say that I would agree with that. We can kind of like close that out on the overall experience of easier or harder. I think that's a great way to close it out.
Yeah.
And to close the video out is that it has been very, very, very challenging for both of us.
Yeah.
But our faith in what our a higher guidance system kind of presents to us and our ability to try to follow it the best we can makes those harder things easier to navigate in the moment. It allows us to do a hard thing easier. So with that, we really do want to say thank you so much for joining us on this entire journey and of course this video. We want to say thank you to our title sponsors here, Reckless Goggles and DCIII Suspension, for being so amazing to us. And we look forward to what this opportunity presents to us, and we can't wait to take you along with us for the rest of the ride. And we hope you have an amazing day, a wonderful night, and we'll see you all next time.